What's up, everybody? This is MJ, and welcome to our Tuesday training broadcast. It's been a couple of weeks since I've been with you, and I have so missed going live with you to share everything that you need to know about launching your 6 or 7 figure boutique, especially if you are a Black woman who wants to become self employed, running your own shop and boutique, whether it's only online or whether it's online and in person. There are many key things that you need to know to be successful. And so that's why we go live 2 or 3 times a week with those tips and tools that you need to be successful. Today, we're going to be talking about a topic that comes up quite often because many of you who are struggling or who have been trying or wanting to start a shop realize that you don't know what you don't know and that you need help. And that right there is a reason to pat yourself on the back for acknowledging that not everything can just be figured out by Googling or YouTubing. If it was that easy, we'd all have done that already, right? So you realize you need help. And some of you are in what seems like the enviable position of knowing someone personally who already owns a boutique. Maybe they own an in-person shop in your community. Maybe it's a family member or a friend or even just somebody you look up to on the internet who's an influencer who also has an online shop or some type of a retail business. And so you probably reached out to them or thought about reaching out to them to ask them for help, right? A lot of people recognize the need to have a mentor. And there's always this idea, especially within the Black community, of we need to reach back and help one another along the way. When you move forward in life, you need to help other people along the way. And a lot of times you can reach out to people and they can be of some assistance to you in a lot of areas in life. Maybe you're in corporate America and you had a mentor in the professional space, or maybe you do right now. I know when I was in corporate America, I mentored a few younger people who were coming up in corporate America. And so maybe you have that type of mentor. Maybe you had a mentor when you were in high school, somebody who helped you out in that space. But as an entrepreneur, you need a mentor as well. And maybe you reached out to somebody to just ask them to help you to launch your boutique. And you were met with resistance and unwillingness on that person's part to help you. And today we're going to talk about the real reason that other boutique owners won't help you. And first, we're going to start out talking about a couple of reasons that seem kind of obvious. Usually the third reason we're going to talk about is the underlying issue that is causing them to be less than forthcoming about what they did to get to where they are. Now, first, I want to give a little caveat here is that you have to be really careful about assuming that you know where people are just based on from the outside looking in at what evidence you think you can see in their business. Maybe you see evidence based on, oh, they're running Facebook ads, or, oh, they are always talking about having a sale, or I see a lot of people commenting on their ads and saying, I got my product, or did you get your product, or I just ordered. Whatever those outside looking in evidences that you are using to assume that these are the people you should be asking for help. I want you to be very careful with that, because just like anything else in life, when you're on the outside looking in, things look a lot different from what they might actually be. And unless you are their partner, unless you are inside of their bank account, they're flexible just because you see them out here doing the things that look like they're running a successful business. So that's the first caveat I want to throw out there. But okay, you've decided I'm going to ask my aunt for help because she runs a shop, or I'm going to ask my best friend for help, or I'm going to ask this woman who I've bought from 10 times if she would be willing to take me under her wing, and you were met with resistance. The first reason that we're going to talk about that's the most obvious and that most people assume is the reason that a boutique owner won't help you is that they feel threatened. Right now, you are looking for help to get started, and you are not posing any type of real competition to them because you're not doing anything yet. But the thing is, they realize that once you get up and going, no matter what that is, you will be a competitor of theirs. And so they might be a little bit threatened, or a lot of bit threatened, by the idea of giving their tips and tricks to a person who could then use those tips and tricks to surpass them. And even if you tell them, I won't do that, I won't use anything, any proprietary information of yours. You can't help but use the information that they have to make your business better, because that's literally the whole point of having a person mentor you, right? And so maybe they just feel like, I'm not going to give them any type of help because I had to learn it the hard way. And I don't want them to use this information that I could give them for free to build a business that's going to pay them, and I'm not going to get anything for it. And a lot of times that is what it is, flat out. And from a straight business standpoint, that is actually quite, it makes a lot of sense, right? Everything out here in this capitalist society that we live in is about competition. It's about winning. It's about, being on top. And so you don't just want to give away the next reason is kind of tied in with that. And that is sometimes, and I alluded to it a moment ago, they can feel a little bit resentful, or a lot of bit resentful, because they had to work super hard to get where they are. And if they just give you the keys to the kingdom, so to speak, in a few sessions and a few emails and a few videos or whatever, you have not had to pay your dues like they had. So there could be a lot of resentment in there. Maybe on the surface, they would not even acknowledge that they feel resentment. But when they look at you as, why should I give you the information I had to work so hard to get? I've been out here 10, 15 years, and you want me to just tell you what I know, what I've learned over those 15 years, not going to do it. And quite frankly, if they were totally honest with you, and I'm going to be honest with you now, it's not possible for somebody to squeeze, 10 or 15 years, blood, sweat, and tears of trial and error into just a short 1 hour conversation, or even a couple of those, because there's just too much to learn. And what you would be getting if they tried to do that is only bits and pieces of what you need to know, which can actually do more harm than good. You're looking at a shop that seems to be successful, and they meet with you a couple of times and tell you a few things, and that makes you feel like, well, I talked to this person, I must be able to use this information to replicate their outcomes. And that's just not reasonable to think that. But maybe they're coming from a place of resentment. But the third reason why they might not be willing to help you is that, quite frankly, they're overwhelmed. Like I said at first, you actually don't know how successful a business is or is not, regardless of what you see them doing. I can walk in Ross Dress for Less every single day, and some weeks I do, and see tons of people in the checkout lines. That does not mean that business is not this close to bankruptcy, because they could be. That could just be what I'm observing at that one store. And with you, looking at a website shop owner is experiencing, are flat out overwhelmed by the mere scope of holding their business together. It is a lot, even with the best team of employees you can hire, to run a shop successfully, because in addition to all of the fun things that are involved in owning a retail shop, such as buying the merchandise or creating the merchandise if you are a producer, and running the shop and decorating it and interacting with customers, there are tons of back office responsibilities that, until you are in there in the trenches and doing it, you probably don't have any idea you are responsible for those things. And that stuff takes just as much time on the back end as it does for you to run the shop on the customer facing side. And so, quite frankly, these boutique owners that you look up to, the ones whose ads you're seeing on Facebook, the ones whose stores you're walking into every day, or whose websites you're perusing and buying on, these people don't have time to help you. They just don't. A lot of them don't feel resentful. They don't even feel threatened by you. But a lot of times they don't have time to work into their schedule helping you to figure out how to do what they're doing. Some of them are still working full-time jobs. As a matter of fact, if they did not set their business up for success the right way in the beginning, they could have been doing their business that you're looking at on the side of a full-time job for months or years even, because they don't know how to make that leap from working for somebody else and doing their thing part-time to doing their thing full-time without losing the roof over their head, the food in their stomach, and their family security and things of that nature. And so they are overwhelmed just trying to keep that kind of that juggling act going. I don't know how many of you remember the comic strip Kathy, that woman that was always perpetually saying, and she was always overwhelmed. I was looking for a picture of it, but when she would get to a place where she was just flailing about as she was struggling to do all the things that she has to do to keep her job, in her case, afloat, or her life at home. The same thing can be true and is often true of a boutique owner or a shop owner. They are just busy trying to do all the things to keep their situation from folding. And so they just don't have time. They want to help, but they just don't have the ability. But this reason I'm about to talk about right now is sometimes the real reason why these boutique owners won't help you get your business started. Whether it's your aunt, your cousin, your BFF, your former coworker, or somebody you don't even know personally, but who you would like to emulate. And that is because many of them don't know. Now, what are you talking about, MJ? What do you mean they don't know? When I say they don't know, a lot of them don't know how to set a business up for success from the ground up. They don't know how to reduce your learning curve so you're not making years and years of mistakes and losing money and possibly having to close your doors. They don't know why they are successful if they have experienced success. Believe it or not, it can be a fluke for many people why they are successful. Sometimes it's just, I don't want to use the word luck because I don't believe in luck. But sometimes it is just a lucky break or something that just happened by chance that helped them, but they have no idea why they were able to have this burst of success, why they had all these sales at this one point, or why they have all these followers all of a sudden, or whatever. And so they are busy worried that they cannot replicate their success over and over across time because they don't know how they got there to begin with. Believe me, it is possible to be successful by most people's standards, which means you have the finances, you have the sales, you have the following, you have the loyalty of your customers, you have a great product, without truly understanding how to make that work over the long term. See, it's one thing to get a product and put it out on the market. And even get some you need to change in your business so that you can continue having success. Things in a business to make it a business. They're essentially running a large hobby business, a regular job, something you just kind of term success. My internet keeps cutting in and out. I don't know if you guys can hear me. I hope you can. And so a lot of these boutique owners, they may make you think that it's because they feel threatened or because they feel overwhelmed or even resentful, but a lot of it's just they don't know. And have you ever heard the phrase or experience where you know how to do something, but you don't know how to teach somebody else to do it? That's a totally different skill set, to have the ability to teach somebody to do something versus knowing how to do it yourself. I know when my children were little, people often ask me, did you give your children piano lessons? Because I've been playing the piano for 40 years. I didn't have a positive experience and not have to deal with my motherly impatience. But the other thing is, there is a skill set to teaching piano. It's true of starting, operating, growing, scaling a boutique or a shop, a retail shop. Just because someone is operating one does not mean that they know how to give you the step-by-step hand-holding guidance, support, holding you accountable to get to where you want to be in your business. And so instead of going to these individuals who are doing what you want to do, you have to also say, when I'm looking for a mentor, I need somebody who knows how to transfer their knowledge to another person in an effective and efficient way. Because again, just because you, like, for example, some of you who were taught how to drive by your parents, but those lessons were stressful and there are some things you didn't learn till 20 years later. You're like, I had no idea I was supposed to be doing that when I was driving. Your parents were not necessarily good driving teachers just because they taught. You need somebody who not only knows what to do, but who knows how to express it to you in a way that's going to help you to learn and grow and retain the information and implement it quickly and effectively. It's not just about running out here and starting a Shopify site on day one, putting some pictures out there and hoping people come flooding to your shop. There is a strategic way to start any kind of business that you want to scale in a relatively short amount of time. It doesn't mean that by having the best mentor, you're going to just be a millionaire the next day. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have trials and tribulations. It doesn't mean that everything's going to go smoothly. However, it's going to go a lot more smoothly if you have a roadmap walking you through your process from A to Z, step actions that are going to help you to implement what you're learning piece by piece and in the right order. And a person out here running their business, worrying about filling orders for customers and doing their banking and hiring customers and getting shipping materials, they don't know necessarily how to teach you how to do the same thing unless you just want to stand there and watch them and hope you pick up the right stuff at the right time and implement it the right way. The bottom line is the real reason why other boutique owners will not help you is because they don't know how to help you. They don't know how to give you what they have often had to learn through a lot of negative trial and error experiences over years to learn. Or if they did it in a short amount of time, they still don't know how to help you to replicate their results as closely as possible. And it could be that the way they did it may not even work for you. And so they don't feel comfortable telling you what they did when they don't even know if that's really what the keys were to their success, because everything that you do on the way up is not something that you should have done. Some things that you do on the way up to your success are things that would have been better eliminated. Yes, you had learning from it, blood, sweat, and tears, and lost reputation, lost customers, and all that. If you could have left some of that stuff out and shortened your learning curve, you could have gotten to your success more quickly without all of those lessons that you learned through making the mistakes. The thing is, you want to build your boutique so that you can have freedom. I call it the freedom boutique. You don't want to create a situation that creates more bondage for you, more stress for you, because you're reinventing the wheel over and over, and because you're having to do multiple things over and over because you're making mistakes that could have been avoided if you had had a system, if you had had support, if you had a guidance from day one to walk you through those minefields or help you to avoid those minefields from jump. And if you want to avoid a lot of those minefields and mistakes that you could have encountered going it alone, or even worse, trying to get the information from people who don't know how to teach you, and you'd rather learn from somebody who's been there before and can walk you through it in the shortest path from A to Z to get to the results you want, then I invite you right now to reach out and book your free breakthrough call with me right now. It's a 45-minute call that's going to help you get crystal clear on 3 things. What's holding you back from starting the boutique of your dreams that has you creating the results in your life that you want and the freedom that you deserve? And then we're going to look at what is that dream? What is the reason why you want to start this business, and where is it you want to go? And then we're going to map out a game plan to get you there as quickly and as efficiently and profitably as possible. And if it turns out we're a fit to help you to work together to get you there quickly, we will talk about what that looks like. And if not, I promise you, I will steer you to what will serve you better. But it starts with our conversation. Go to my calendar at MelanieHunter.com. That application that pops up next so you can get the most value from our time together. And I promise you, when we get off the phone, you will be crystal clear about what the next steps are in your journey to building your freedom boutique. Don't let anything else stop you. Don't worry about how we're going to make it happen. Don't worry about, I don't know, I don't have all the answers. Let's have a conversation and let's get you started today. Melanie Hunter with 2 L's.com/chat. Book your call, fill out your application, and we will chat soon. Look at me, sweating as usual. Just sweating, y'all set. It's been my pleasure to share with you today. I look forward to speaking to you again later this week about another amazing topic that's going to help you to create your freedom boutique as quickly as possible. Black woman, it begins with our conversation. Book your call today, MelanieHunter.com/chat, and we'll talk soon. Take care, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.